an invisible enemy has turned life in America upside down.
It's going to be a matter of, several weeks to few months, for sure.
The numbers continue to climb.
Slow the spread of the disease by flattening the curve, by doing all the mitigation. It actually lasts longer.
The way the curve is shown on the graph you showed.
Hello, Summit Church. It pains me to say this, but as you know, we are in the midst of an unprecedented pandemic. We've chosen to temporarily suspend our in-person meetings. Thank you, church, for bearing with us. We've made it through the first 15 days to flatten the curve. Unfortunately, we're now into the 30 days to slow the spread. Who'd have thunk it? But you've got this, just keep trucking along, and we'll see you on the other side. In these trying times, Summit Church truly does appreciate your patience and grace for us as we continue to navigate this massive pandemic. Now, even though some of you who are in reasonably good health could have the option of gathering for worship while still protecting the vulnerable, we've decided that at this point, we're just all in on the mainstream media's narrative.
It's possible. I enjoy it. I like it better than anything else. And I don't know why, but it seems to agree with me.
Oh, that is just so cute. Oh, I hope I can be like her when I grow up. We need to ask you to continue to be patient for just a little while more, folks. I know it's tough, but just think what a wonderful witness this is to the world around us. Counter-cultural patience. We are all in this together. This is it, church. We can no longer afford to stand idly by while what happens happens. Enough is enough. You need to take to the streets, protest, join the violent, belligerent, uninformed mob. White silence is white violence. Black lives matter. All right, guys, that's enough. You can get back inside your houses now. Get back inside. Upon further review of the information, it is still not safe to meet for church, but you darn well better observe Juneteenth now, you hear? A good Christian does not observe Independence Day in any way whatsoever unless deconstructing it.
Ventilator.
Believe me, church, I hear you. You're aching for fellowship. You're hungry to finally return to observing the Lord's Day in the way that we were called to do, by getting together, gathering together for the reading and preaching of the Word, encouraging one another with psalms, hymns, spiritual songs. Our Lord says we must, but the governor says we can't. Sorry, Romans 13. Some of you are divisively demanding that we just haphazardly resume services, since, after all,
Black Lives Matter
receives no restriction whatsoever on their pagan communist worship services.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
I want to remind you, as a Christian, you are called to love the church you gather with more than you love your position on gathering. I mean, you're gathering, we're gathering virtually. Now just prescribe that for the immunocompromised folks in the congregation who may have very serious, real, tangible health risks. I prescribe this for the young people, the healthy adults, who have exponentially more chances of dying from an automobile accident than from the coronavirus. And even though the pro-lockdown WHO is even admitting now that asymptomatic spread of the virus is exceedingly rare, it's still just not safe. And as you know, the gospel is all about physical safety and pursuing that at whatever the spiritual cost.
Because we have listened to the experiences of brothers and sisters that we have come to love dearly. This is our family. And we have heard things. And you will
You got a point. I mean, those glasses are pretty big. You must be right.
Two and two You'll get 5. Because you will put your experience on that person's experience. And what almost often happens, always.
Well, folks, the news isn't good today. The dangers of this pandemic continue to mount relentlessly. We now know that 0.7% of the American population tests positive right now for COVID-19. And of those 0.7% who are testing positive right now, 1.9% of them are seriously ill enough to require hospitalization. So in other words, 0.014% of the American population is ill enough to be hospitalized for COVID-19 right now. There is only one sensible response to this. It's time to double down on our largely worthless restrictions. As part of our new updated virtue signaling guidelines, we will now require masks to be worn whenever you are speaking with another Summit Church member on a Zoom call, over the phone, when you're watching future Summit Church update videos, and especially when reading Onward by Russell Moore, or Color Compromise by Jamar Tisby, or Woke Church by Eric Mason, or any of the other new canon. This mask guideline will extend to whether you are by yourself or not, inside your own home, or outside in broad daylight. Love your neighbor and do your part. Together, we can help stop the spread of COVID.